Hi everyone, I'm Margaret Nimmo Holland, the Executive Director at Voices for Virginia's Children.
And I'm Lauren Snellings. I'm the new Research Director here at Voices for Virginia's Children. We've been doing some important work regarding the 2020 census. We want to make sure we get every child and every person in Virginia counted. Margaret has been lucky enough to serve on the Virginia Complete Count Commission that's been appointed by the governor. Margaret, can you talk a little bit about our work at the state level?
Absolutely. So this is an amazing group of more than 40 commissioners who represent hard-to-count communities in Virginia. So that means folks who are traditionally undercounted in the census, and we need to do some extra outreach around that. So of course we are there to represent children, and specifically young children. Kids under 5, as you know, are the group most likely to be undercounted in the census. So we need to do some specific outreach. Right now, the commission is in its education and awareness phase, so we are learning from each other about the hard-to-count communities in Virginia and how to best reach out to them. And then we're gathering resources so that we can share those with folks all throughout the state at the local level, because it's really important that we get down to that local grassroots level to communicate about the census.
So you mentioned the local level. We know that every community looks different. Can you talk a little bit about our work at the local level with government and communities to make sure every child's counted?
Absolutely. So we are working with the Virginia Municipal League and the Virginia Association of Counties to really reach out to local government officials. You and I have been doing lots of presentations, providing content for blogs and newsletters to make sure that the word gets out that everybody, including local government, has a role to play in ensuring a complete count. So what we're hoping is that local governments will form groups with a variety of stakeholders involved in the census to reach out and identify their own hard-to-count communities and how to best do outreach. And you're so right, every locality looks different in Virginia, so it's really important that we get folks who can speak to the particular needs in that community. And of course, we're interested in making sure that there's representation of trusted messengers who can reach families of young children. So we're thinking about libraries, we're thinking about healthcare systems, pediatricians' offices, faith communities, other places where young families go that they can receive information about the census and know that that's a trusted source.
In my conversations with individuals, they often find it surprising that young children aren't counted. Can you talk a little bit about why young children especially are undercounted?
Well, it is a little bit surprising because in the 2010 census, 4 out of 5 young children who were left off the forms, actually the household turned in the form, they just left off the young child. So you think, why would that be?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is that sometimes there's confusion in families, especially if young children are living with grandparents or other relatives, or perhaps they're in foster care, or maybe just in an unstable housing situation. They go back and forth between different parents' houses, and people are unsure when the census comes who's counting the young child. Another really good reason, when you think about it, is fear. So in a lot of our communities, housing is very expensive, and so families may be doubled up. They may have more people than they're supposed to have in an apartment, and so they're afraid that if they answer the census form accurately, that information will get back to their landlord, so they leave off the young kids. So it's really important for us as trusted messengers to communicate to families that this information is confidential. There are actual legal penalties. Census workers could go to prison if they reveal any information that they gather through the census to other folks. So that's a really important thing to know about the families of young children.
So we've talked a lot about what we're doing both at the state and local level. What can our viewers do who are listening to us today be census supporters?
So we are really hoping that everyone gets involved in the 2020 census and that folks understand their role. I think probably the first thing people can do is go to our website and connect to the Complete Count Commission, that state level group, which is keeping track of which localities have formed local level efforts to count everybody. So complete count committees at the local level. If your locality, if you're in Henrico or Fairfax or Wythe, make sure that your local government has formed a stakeholder group to do census outreach. And then think about the ways that you interact with families with young children in your community, whether it's at your faith community, whether it's at the library, if you're a child care provider, if you're a pediatrician. You can be a trusted messenger in your community. So please look at other places on our website for additional information about the census. We will continue to provide more resources as we move through the census leading up to April 1st, because there's new information coming out all the time.
So check out our website for more information about how you can be a census supporter.